Whether you're a first-year econ undergrad, or someone interested in economics, or someone that reads newspapers, or someone that reads a news website every once in a while, or someone that has any money in their pocket, or someone that doesn't have any money in their pocket but thinks she's gonna have some someday, or someone that knows what money is used for and would like to know more about what it is, or if you're having breakfast alone and have 5 minutes to spare. If you're any of these things, you really need to know what inflation is. So I'm going to explain it to you in this video. I'm also going to tell you about an interesting thing that happened a few years ago in a Nazi prisoners of war camp.
Let's take a step back and talk a bit about birds. In 2010, a feather like this one was sold at an auction for £3,800, about $6,000 at the time. That's around £3,800 more than the price of a pigeon feather. Why the difference? Well, the feather comes from the Huia bird, which has been extinct since 1907. And one of the main reasons why it went extinct was hunting. The Huia bird was so beautiful that collectors and museums all over Europe wanted one to keep as a mounted specimen, which means there just aren't many Huia feathers around today. So why am I talking about birds? Well, the story shows us a very important thing. The more there is of something, the less that something is worth. And the more people want something, the more that something is worth. Kind of obvious, isn't it? To understand what inflation is, you need to understand this key principle. When there is a lot of something, that something is not worth very much. The worth of an item is given by its price. A price of an item is like a score that tells us how much people want that item, how scarce that item is, and what's the balance between these two things. And because how much there is of something and how much people want it change all the time, prices are not fixed once and for all. Prices change very slowly, but they do change over time.
I mean, in the 50s, you could buy a theater ticket for 50 cents in the States. Now, I don't live in the States, but I don't think you can do that anywhere today, can you? Or you could buy a coffee for 5 cents, same story. Or in 2015, you could have hover converted your old car for $39,999.95. I don't live in the States, but I don't think you can do that anywhere today, can you?
Now, here's a funny story. During World War II, an economist called R.A. Radford was caught and put in a Nazi prisoner of war camp. Soldiers in prison there will receive food parcels from the Red Cross containing food and other stuff. They also receive a ration of 25 cigarettes a week. The economist noticed something funny happening there. Soldiers started trading the content of the rations with each other using cigarettes as money.
You really never heard of money? Money?
That's right, just like it happens in movies about jails and stuff like that, cigarettes were used as money. In fact, anything can in theory be used as money.
Gold! Diamonds! Anything rare and precious?
Now, soldiers didn't just trade food and stuff, they also sold services to each other. For example, you could get your clothes washed for 2 cigarettes a piece, apparently. Some even turned it into a business. Apparently there was a soldier that put up a coffee stall where you could buy tea, coffee or cocoa at 2 cigarettes a cup. So strictly speaking, although there was no money in the camp, there were cigarettes. But what Radford noticed was that cigarettes will behave just like money and prices will still change all the time. For example, prices will go down each time the Red Cross convoy arrived bringing food. Remember? When there's a lot of something, that something isn't worth very much. Every time the convoy brought food, the value of each item went down. And as food got consumed and became more scarce, prices will rise again until a new convoy arrived. If a convoy didn't arrive for a while, prices will go up even more as things became more and more scarce. Also, when a lot of new hungry prisoners arrived in the camp, food prices will go up. Here's one crazy thing he noticed. When a lot of cigarettes arrived in the camp at the same time, prices will go up like crazy. And when cigarettes didn't arrive in the camp for a while, prices will go down and down and down. How's that even possible? Remember the mantra, when there is a lot of something, that something isn't worth very much. When there were a lot of cigarettes, cigarettes weren't worth very much. But hang on, cigarettes were used as money. Does that mean that when there is a lot of money, money isn't worth very much?
Yeah, turns out that's the case. The value of money is just the value of the things you can buy with it.
It's what you can buy with what you've got. That's what counts.
When prices go up, you can buy less things with any given amount of money. But that's the same as saying that money has lost some of its value. So prices going up in an economy is the same thing as money losing value in that economy. And when prices go up in an economy, not just 1 or 2 prices, but all prices going up, that's called inflation.
Here's the plan. We get the warhead and we hold the world ransom for $1 million.
Well, don't you think we should maybe ask for more than $1 million? $1 million isn't exactly a lot of money these days.
$1 million in the 60s could buy you a lot of stuff. But because prices increased since then, $1 million can buy you way less today. I mean, still a lot, but way less. So, because of inflation, money lost some of its value over time.
So, why does inflation happen? Think of the POW camp. Prices went up when A. There weren't many items around to buy, B. New soldiers arrived and wanted to buy stuff, and C. A lot of cigarettes arrived in the camp at the same time. That pretty much sums up the three main reasons why prices go up in an economy.
Number 1. Supply.
If goods become more scarce, or if it costs more money for a producer to make the good, then the producer has to raise its price. This is called cost-push inflation. Think of the coffee stall. If the coffee seller suddenly had to pay 5 cigarettes more to buy the ground coffee from another soldier, it would have to raise the price of its coffee cups to compensate for that.
Number 2. Demand. If a lot of hungry soldiers arrive and all of them want to buy food, people that have food to sell can ask for more cigarettes for each item. Again, if everybody does that, prices in the economy go up and we have inflation. This is called demand pull inflation. And number 3, too much money. When there is too much money in an economy, over time the value of each unit of money goes down. So you need more of it to buy any given item. And then prices will have to go up to compensate for that.
Don't you see? If everyone has it, it loses value. Prices will go up, then everyone will have to have more and more money. It'll be chaos. That'll be $5,000.
I'll take 2 then.
$10,000, please. Exact change only.
2 cavities. That'll be $40,000 per filling.
Well, at least some prices haven't gone up.
Now, in the real world, this doesn't happen straight away. It usually takes some time for prices to change when the amount of money in the economy goes up. And this has very important consequences for economic policy and stuff. But eventually, over a long enough period of time, prices will go up. That's it. Now you know what inflation is. So, how do we control inflation? And how much inflation is too much inflation? I'm too lazy to continue now, so we'll talk about that in another episode. If you feel like saying something about this video, please write us a comment and help us get more views. Leave a like or subscribe and all of that. Otherwise, well, take care and see you around.